Hi, this is Arthur Carmazzi, and welcome to Agents of Change. Dun dun dun! Today we're going to talk about identity. See, here's the thing. When we are children, we literally have unlimited potential for happiness. Really. And what ends up happening is that as we start to grow, maybe we're 5 years old, we're 4 years old, we're 7 years old, we're all these different, and we start to grow up, the environment basically gives us challenges. And what ends up happening is that we start to make decisions based on the challenges from our environment. Now, that could be cool, except that the environment is constantly changing. So you never really have any consistency, and you're making decisions based on something that happens maybe once, maybe twice, but may never, ever happen again. And you're making decisions about how to be, or the way that you should approach things. And unfortunately, that takes us away from our real, true identity, and takes us away from that potential to have that ultimate happiness that we are all allowed to have. So, how do we affect or change this? Well, we have to actually go back and look at the different facets of what has happened in our past. For example, in one of my courses, I had a lady. She was 32 years old, very smart, and she had been in a job for 6 years without getting a promotion. She was good at her job. The other thing is that she'd also never really been in any kind of a real long-term relationship more than about 3 or 4 months. And she knew that her greatest ability was to be independent. Now here's the thing. When we actually went back into her past, and we went back into the decisions that she made, we found out that there was one decision that started roughly at about 5 years old. And when she was 5 years old, her father had guests that came to her house and had asked her to change her clothes. Now, as an ornery little girl, this young lady said no. And apparently that made her father angry, and he ripped off her dress and told her to go to her room and change her clothes. Now, as a 5-year-old girl, not understanding that maybe, the whole anger thing, and I'm not excusing the father, but here's the thing. It was a one-time situation. And she had made a decision that she needed to be independent. She needed to be independent in order to basically not deal with people of authority who would break her heart. And so, as life continued, and there was a situation where another male teacher, when she was about 8 years old, had embarrassed her in front of a class, another authority figure, she reinforced that she needed to be independent. And so this continued, and every little aspect of her life where she would see a male authority figure that would do something wrong, it just reinforced her decision to be independent. And here she is, 32 years old, her boss is male, and she can't get a promotion, and well, basically a lot of her companions think she's kind of a bit of a bitch, okay? So when she gets into relationships, eventually the person takes the role of the male authority figure and she rebels. So what ended up happening is that once she realized that she had made a decision based on a situation, a one-time situation, when she was 5 years old, she realized that it was, well, basically not an intelligent decision. And it's not really what she wanted. She didn't really want to be independent. What she really wanted was to be loved. But because of that one decision, and because she was always looking for ways to reinforce it, because that's what our brain does. Once we make a decision, we try to find ways to reinforce it. She became what she didn't want. She became independent. She built barriers, and those barriers prevented her from becoming the person that she really was, a loving, caring, and giving individual that was open to love, that was open to other people's warmth. And once she made the realization, it started to change her perception of who she was. She started to re-look at her real, true identity. And it put her on a path back to being the ideal girl, the ideal lady that she was. So when you are looking for your identity, who you really are, I want you to think about, what did you want to be when you were a kid? Why? And see, most of us have this fundamental ideal that we want to do something good, we want to be something great, we want to make a difference, we want to be someone that can do something that is valuable, not only for ourselves, but for the world, for our parents, for something. And we want to create something great. And if this is you, and you're not really living up to that identity, or you're not living up to the identity that you think you should have, well then look into your past. Try to identify the different decisions that were made based on environment, which is constantly changing, and see how you can take those and understand where they came from. See, a decision that is made from identity, who you are at your best, when you know this is who I am, this is who I need to be, this is the person that I am aspiring to be. When you make a decision from that perspective, you will always be right. But when you make a reactive decision based on the things that are going on around you, you will be distracted from the ideal you. This is Arthur Carmazzi wishing you great success. Please don't leave me out in the rain. Share this with everyone. Make comments. Okay? Leave all sorts of questions that you have so that we can answer them in the next videos. And make sure, of course, you tell everybody about this. And don't forget hashtag Agents of Change and hashtag Arthur Carmazzi. With that, again, I wish you great success and change the world in the process.